This story is called The Haunted Ukulele, a true Hawaiian ghost story from Bellows Air Force Station, Waimanalo, Hawaii. The Haunted Ukulele. Aloha, friends. Welcome back to Doc Moore's Midnight Horror Stories. This is the piece that my friend Rudy and I put together while we were living in Japan. And tonight's story comes from the beautiful yet mysterious windward side of Oahu, Hawaii, a place known for its breathtaking beaches, swaying palms, and moonlit forests. But beneath that beauty, some believe ancient spirits still wander. Tonight's tale takes us to Bellows Air Force Station in Waimanalo, and this is a story told and retold for generations. A story of music, memory, and perhaps a lonely spirit searching for one final song. This story is called The Haunted Ukulele. The Cabin. It happened many years ago during a quiet summer evening. The trade winds had settled, the ocean was calm, and a full Hawaiian moon hung over the shoreline like a glowing lantern. I was staying at one of the small cabins near Bellows Air Force Station. That night was peaceful, too peaceful. The only sounds were distant waves and the occasional rustling of leaves from the forest beyond the beach. Unable to sleep, I carried my ukulele outside and sat on the wooden steps of the cabin. The moonlight stretched long shadows across the sand and into the nearby trees. Something about the forest felt different that night. Not threatening, not dangerous, just watchful. Still, I ignored the feeling. After all, the music had always brought me comfort. So I began to play. The Strange Chord. The first few songs were familiar Hawaiian melodies, songs I'd played countless times before. Then something unusual happened. My fingers moved across the fretboard without conscious thought. They formed a chord I'd never learned, a shape completely unfamiliar to me. Yet somehow it felt natural, as if my hands already knew where to go. The chord produced a haunting sound, beautiful, melancholy, almost mournful. Curious, I continued. The progression flowed effortlessly from one chord to another. The melody seemed to create itself, and then I heard another ukulele. The echo in the forest. At first, I thought I was imagining things. Perhaps the wind had distorted the sound of my own instrument. But then it happened again. A second ukulele answered from deep within the forest. Every note matched mine perfectly. Every strum, every pause, every rhythm. And yet there was one difference. The distant ukulele sounded older, sadder, as though someone was playing from another time. The mysterious musician followed every note I played. When I played softly, it played softly. When I played loudly, it played loudly. When I stopped, the forest became silent. No birds, no insects, no wind, nothing, only darkness. Then I began again, and so did the unseen player. The hour of music. For nearly an hour we played together, a duet between strangers, or perhaps between worlds. Several times I stood and walked toward the edge of the forest. The music would instantly stop. Each time I returned to the cabin and resumed playing, the answering ukulele returned, always distant, always hidden, never revealing itself. The strange chord progression continued. The melody felt less like a song and more like a memory that didn't belong to me. Eventually, fatigue overtook curiosity. The hour grew late. The moon climbed higher. I set down my ukulele and I returned inside the cabin. Soon, I fell asleep. Midnight music. At exactly midnight, I awoke. The room was dark. The air felt unusually cold. And then I heard it. The ukulele. Not outside. Not inside my dreams. But outside my cabin window. The same melody. The same haunting progression. The same unfamiliar chords. Slow. Melodic. Melancholy. Lonely. The unseen musician was playing alone now, without me. I sat upright in the bed, listening. The notes drifted through the darkness like a voice calling from another age. For several minutes, the music continued, then gradually, it faded away. Note by note, until silence returned. Exhausted and confused, I drifted back to sleep. The search. The next morning, sunlight flooded the cabin. The events of the previous night felt impossible. Surely there had been an explanation. Another camper, a hidden cabin, a late-night musician. After breakfast, I set out toward the forest, following the direction from which the music came from. The trail was narrow. Twisted roots crossed the ground. Sunlight filtered through dense branches. As I walked deeper, I expected to find evidence of someone, a campsite, a fire ring, footprints, anything. But there was nothing. No cabin. No tents. No signs of recent visitors. Only the silent forest. Still I continued, then I saw something ahead, half buried beneath leaves and roots, an object resting alone in a small clearing. The discovery. My heart began to race. Slowly, I approached, and there it was, an old ukulele. Weathered by decades of rain and sun, its wood was cracked, its finish nearly gone. The strings were broken. The instrument appeared abandoned for many years, perhaps even longer. I picked it up carefully. Despite its condition, it felt strangely warm, as though someone had held it recently. Then I noticed something. Carved into the back of the instrument were faded initials. The letters were barely visible, and beneath them a date, 1944. I stood frozen. 1944. Bellows Air Force Station had been heavily used during World War II. Thousands of service members had passed through Hawaii during those difficult years. But who owned this instrument? A young soldier? A local musician? Someone who never made it home? The questions lingered, but there were no answers, only silence. The legend. Years later, I shared the story with local residents. Several elders listened quietly. Then one elderly Hawaiian gentleman nodded. He told me an old legend. According to local stories, a young musician once spent evenings near the Bellows shoreline, playing his ukulele beneath the moon. He loved music more than anything. Then, one day he disappeared. Some said he joined the military during the war. Others claimed he was lost at sea. Still others believe he wandered into the forest and was never seen again. But according to the legend, his music never stopped. And on certain nights, certain moonlit nights, if someone unknowingly plays his favorite melody, the unseen musician plays along, still searching, still remembering, still performing the song he never finished. Was the mysterious music simply an echo, a trick of the wind, a dream brought on by moonlight and imagination? Or did an old spirit answer from the shadows of Bellows Forest? Perhaps some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved, and perhaps some songs never truly end. The next time you hear distant music in the darkness, listen carefully. You may not be alone. This is a wonderful story about Bellows Air Force Recreation Center and Base, which is located in Waimanalo, Oahu, Hawaii. It's a beautiful area where the water is so green and beautiful waves lapping the ocean. You should go there sometime and just listen and visit. Thank you for joining us tonight. If you enjoyed this Hawaiian ghost story, please like, subscribe, and share. And leave your comments below at the site. And tell us, have you ever experienced something supernatural while playing music? Until next time, and thank you, mahalo, to my good friend Rudy, who has a sense of these supernatural things, spiritual, ethereal things. Him and his wife, Miss Kimmy, they have a sense of it, the Hawaiian soul. So, remember, some melodies are remembered long after the musician is gone. This is Stephen B. Doc Moore. Thank you for listening and observing and watching and participating and contributing. And until the next time, aloha.